Hey guys, I'm back for book review 21 of 365. This review is the review of the 7th book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and it's Lover Avenged, and it's Revenge and Elena's story. And I really liked Revenge as a character before we got to his story, because I felt like we really got to know him in just the short little pieces of information we got about him. And he was so interesting, and I needed to know more, and I'm glad he finally got his own book. Here's the cover, and I really like this cover. There we go. Because I think the cover is a little different for this book, and it's just a man, no biting. He's facing forward, and you just see him and his tattoos. And I like that because it's kind of showing a deviation from the other books, where there's biting and they're vampires, but Revenge is half vampire, half sympath. So I like that the book covers were different, even though I know the author doesn't pick them, the publishing company does. In this book, I think it was broken up into thirds. A third of the story was Revenge and Elena's story, and a third of the story was John and Hex's story, and then the other third was filled with like the Lessing Society updates and updates on the other brothers and on Wrath, and then a really weird side story about Paranormal Activity TV show that I'll go into a little more later. So the first third of the book, I'm not saying it's like the first third of the book was their story, like I'm just saying overall content, a third of the content was about revenge. I like that it really plays up like the difference between his vampire side and his sympath side, like how it affects him personally, like how he can act, because he has so much that he has to hide from the world, and how his dopamine drug use is. And I really like the difference when they show his vampire side. You meet his mother and you see kind of how his home life was, and you see his interaction with his sister a little more, and I really like that. And this story kind of brings him down a little bit. Before now, he was very like, drug lord, prostitution ring, I'll kill you, he stabbed the guy, he's ordered hits on people. But this brings him down to another level where he's more workable as a person, where he's not just like this random kill everybody person. And I like that, but it was definitely needed to make him fit with the female character. Now, the female character is Elena, and she has a lot of her own problems. She's a nurse at Haver's clinic, and that's where she meets Revenge, because he has to go to get his dopamine from Haver's. So that's how they meet. And she has an elderly father that she takes care of, and she used to be part of like the aristocracy, but it just all fell apart. Her dad made some bad deals. They got cut out. It's not really important to the story, but so she is like down on her luck, but she's still very upbeat, and she's a good person in her heart. And I think that's kind of what at first put me off a little bit about her, because Revenge is so one way and she's so the other, but they both kind of come a little away from what you think their personalities are. He comes a little down from that, she goes a little more outside the box, and they meet in the middle. And their story is, I think, one of the best and most believable, with the satisfying ending, I think, compared to some others. Pretty satisfying ending. Now, John and Hex, I don't want to go into too much, because I think either the next book or the one right after that is their story. It is the next one. I know it's the next one. So in this book, he's recently transitioned, and he's dealing with a lot of emotions towards Hex, towards the Brotherhood. In the last book, Doc Jane gets saved, sort of, and she comes back as like a ghost thing. I don't even know for really sure. Still, after reading more of the books, I'm still not sure exactly. She's a ghost, but she can be whole, and I don't know. And he's really like emotional, but he doesn't want to show it, because he's big ass badass vampire, and he's big, like brother size. So and he's mad that Doc Jane got to come back and Wellesley didn't, and he's mad that Torment is so resistant to like being back in the fold and like connecting with him. And so he goes through a lot in this story, and it really sets it up nice for their story next. I really like that. I like John as a character. I like Hex as a character. So I have no problem having a third of somebody else's story be theirs. The other little bits that are in this story, you know, Raph has a lot going on, you know, stepping up to be king and what's going on with that. And in this story, he makes a lot of decisions that he kind of has to back up and either man up or not. And I like that we get a little update on him because it's been a while. He's in every book, don't get me wrong, but it's been a while before we had like a lot of what's going on with him. So we have Lash. Lash being involved in the Lusting Society is definitely making that part of the story more interesting, because before now I really didn't care. It was just something you had to get through to get to the good bits. But now you know it's leading to something. You know it's building, and you know he's gonna do something amazing sometime soon. So you need to read it and you have to pay attention to that. So I thought that was very smart of her to integrate it a little better into the story. I definitely like that. So overall, I did like this story. The only thing I didn't really get was this, I mean, not that I didn't get it, because I get it. I get the point of it, but there's like this side story about this paranormal activity TV show who wants to do this, this live show at this bed and breakfast in the middle of nowhere, but there's supposedly like this ghost of this former Civil War hero, and obviously we know from the beginning it's a vampire. You just know. Obviously, or why else would it be in this story? It's not like she's gonna jump ghosts into it too all of a sudden. So, and I mean, about like, it gets like one chapter like every 6 chapters. You get one chapter and it's just building and building and building. And you know, it's not a surprise the way it turns out, and but it just stops. And I'm kind of wondering like there's a small mention of it in the next book. But like, what was the point? Like, was it really needed? Or is she setting up for later stories? And if she is, I take it all back. She's setting up really early, because there's like 4 more books with nothing that you didn't need this side story for. So I think it easily could have been cut and condensed down if she does need it for later. And if she doesn't need it for later, why include it? Why include it? So that's it. I really did like this story. I love Revenge. I still love Revenge. I love that he's more integral to the Brotherhood from now on, even though that's not that big in this story. And the last, like, I don't know, 10 chapters of this book are just action-packed, exciting, and made me just run out and get the next book, because when I started reading this series, this book was already out, and the next one was. No, the next one wasn't. So when I finished, I read all the way up to this one, and then I was like, oh my god, I need to know what happens now. So I love when books are like that. The last half of this book was just unbelievably action-packed and great. So, so yeah, if you like this book or you didn't like this book, leave me a comment below and let me know why or not. So, or if you have an idea for a book that you want me to read and review, let me know, and I will do that. I have gotten some comments about books I should read, and I might do some reviews on books that I've already read outside of this 365 challenge, and just to let you guys know, like the Harry Potter series and the Sookie Stackhouse series, I've read all those already, so they won't be included in the 365. But I will be reading next Fae Fever series. One of the people I'm subscribed to on YouTube, Bookgasmic, pretty sure is how you say it, just did a review, or just did a book haul about how she got all these, and I've never read them, and they sound so good. So that's going to be my next series. When I have a couple of videos to finish on this one. I have a couple more in between that, but I'm going to start reading that one real soon. So look for those soon. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.